tell me a bit more about the Trampery, what do you do, and what are the plans for the future, the Trampery, and how you're going to support fashion businesses.
Okay. So obviously, yes, the Trampery's 10 years old as of this year, so it's quite like a timely time for us and all the work we're doing. But obviously, yes, so the kind of core of it is a social enterprise with a focus around workspace development, business support, and kind of workshop spaces to be able to support various sectors within London specifically, but then also in Europe, in Oslo and Helsinki as well. So we've got some developments out there. And like I say, the kind of genesis of the company started in Old Street around the start of Tech City, so it was the first workspace in Shoreditch, around that kind of time of the madness that started happening around there. And I think, and obviously over time it's been a development towards operating inside other creative sectors as well. So obviously the most timely stuff at the moment has been around specifically on the River Lee, really. So it's obviously working down as far as here, and then actually further in terms of Republic, East India, and then as high as Tottenham, the Trampery Tottenham. So like I say, in terms of the kind of layout of things for us now, so we have Trampery Tottenham, Trampery Old Street, Republic, Trampery on the Gantry at Here East, Fish Island Village, and there'll also be Poplar Works, which will start next year. And so they all have a kind of specific sector that they're focusing on. And obviously with Fish Island Village, the focus is around fashion. So we kind of got involved in this project best part of about 3 or 4 years ago, when Peabody, the land developer, were looking to take over this space. So that basically this model is actually quite good to look at. So I'll kind of show you. So basically this whole thing is just one big factory, or 2 big factories, massive kind of long spaces. So in terms of the accessibility and everything around here, obviously there was just kind of nothing. So they completely emptied obviously that space out, and so now we're going to occupy 10 of these buildings. So we've got Monument Road over there, which is the furthest one, running into 5 more in here, so it's 5, 6 and 4 in here. And it's all the ground floor kind of shop fronts basically, and it kind of accumulates to 50,000 square feet. So it's like going to be 63 studios ranging from about 2,500 square foot down to 100, and then it's going to be on-site manufacturing facility as well, so there'll be a 2,000 square foot fabrication facility for fashion, and obviously on-site program through the Sustainable Fashion Accelerator, and then a communal block which will have event space, meeting rooms, canal-side cafe, and kind of more low-cost desk space. So like I say, we're operating in kind of stages. So the first set of studios opens imminently, and that's kind of Monument Road over there. So that's the first 7. So we've got good growth funding from the Mayor's Office to develop the fit outside of those. So they come in at like £25 per square foot, which in terms of the fit out spec, all the things that are being delivered is like extremely high end for the price. So we kind of offer around 50% of market value for workspace. And it kind of varies across the scheme depending on the size of the spaces, really. But yeah, so we've got kind of 63 in here, and then obviously Poplar will also be a shared community for fashion, but with LCF. So obviously they'll have half and we'll have half. But yeah, our partners in this is obviously EU, Mayor's Office, LCF and the British Fashion Council.
So it's quite densely, it's packed in one place. Is there a sort of like an idea behind that?
Yeah, there is. I mean, so obviously, like I say, the big thing for us, obviously, getting involved so early on is we could really guide the manner in which the studios were designed. Obviously not internal architecture, but in terms of the actual physical architecture and layouts. But then obviously the big focus around these is the kind of yard concept. So obviously you've got kind of big yards that facilitate. So within this block, there's block B, which is this one here, F, C, D and E. And so these will all have ground floor space, and the kind of ground floor square area is, obviously it's public space, but obviously the aim is for our community to kind of populate and kind of create inside of that space. So this kind of open square, this big open square, and then this one here.
So it's quite interesting because you've got residents living on the flats above and around, and so they're just completely sort of immersed and integrated into the community.
Well, from the very, very beginning, a big focus for us was trying to have a live-work element ingrained into the project, something that unfortunately didn't come together just because it's quite hard at the moment in England to get those things, or I should say England, I should say London, some good ones in Liverpool, things like that, but that was kind of something that we wanted to do, which we're also doing in Oslo. But in terms of the way, the kind of layout of it, obviously the way they've sold the apartments is obviously strongly connected to this kind of creative community that's going to be integrated seamlessly within. So obviously everyone's moved into this area, well aware of what this area is renowned for. And obviously as the Trampery is a social enterprise workspace provider, but focusing on fashion, obviously there's just going to be a lot of, as part of the wider fashion district, all the work that's being done around here, this will be the largest space provider, so it'll be a kind of focal hub for engagement and research and development, and ultimately the brands who are going to form and shape the industry in the future, really. So
it will sort of like brand this area as a sort of fashion innovation type of sort of space as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And you said, it's a bit difficult at the moment in London, especially. What would you say those difficulties are? You're saying in terms of integrating the sort of live-work element.
Well, you've got, with planners, obviously they're looking to have a lot of help to buy systems and social housing integrated inside of it. So obviously they have certain remits they have to do to then have that mixed in with subsidised spaces for artists as well. It kind of creates this friction of who's getting what and why they're getting it. So certainly not from our end in terms of what we would want to do, but I think the props to the developer in terms of this project is the fact that they've utilised all these ground floor spaces for a social enterprise and a workspace provider like us. Because ultimately these, 50,000 square foot is no small amount of space. They've given us a lot of space here to work with, and we think we're, in terms of how we're shaping it and what it's going to give back is amazing. But I guess some forward-thinking kind of planning developers, the more the better would be good.
So it's subsidised by the planners and the space, and there's obviously the shared ownership model for
so it's kind of, I think most of those run
residents.
down on the long drive over on there, so it kind of goes, so there's kind of a big chunk missing there obviously, but the apartments kind of run all the way down and across the other side as well, but they're really beautiful. I mean, there's some amazing projects. You can kind of see, I mean, it's obviously
because you mentioned affordable workspace being a bit of an issue,
internal gardens and stuff's quite cool.
Oh, that's nice, actually. So how affordable would you say?
Well, definitely affordable is not the word. I mean, ultimately affordable, I think, is subjective. Obviously, what one person's affordable. So like I say, in terms of low cost, so obviously when we do any project, and obviously we're not-for-profit in the sense that, everything we do is about reducing the costs on the creatives that are going to take space with us. So obviously we do in-depth market research on the area, so we're fully aware of, there are certain providers in the area who can do like £10 a square foot or 15, and then there are certain people who charge, 50 to 100. So it's about trying to find a middle ground where we feel the spec can be as high end, but then ultimately we're not dragging the creators down or up to a price that's just not feasible for them to do. So obviously that's the kind of first step, and then the second step is really for us to try to find ways to subsidise or have reductions for local business. So we'll have a large reduction on rent for any business which is established in Hackney, and then we'll also obviously work with BFC, so the new gen will have a free studio within the space as well. So as much kind of as we can do within the remit, and then obviously it's trying to work as a whole. So even like the desk space being at like £200 a desk, in comparison to even somewhere here east, it's completely apples and oranges. So trying to cater to a kind of mid-market, but then ultimately with the ambition that they'll be making the best kind of stuff going.
So do you see any competition from you said other parts of London, around London, but you don't see that so much from other parts of UK?
Well, I think, there's obviously a million workspace providers, but I think that's not really what we feel we know we are, but that's not how we operate. And we're not an infinite growth company, so we are at a time of expansion as a company because of the amount of spaces we've taken over a short time. But the ultimate goal of the company isn't to have 100 trampories.
Yeah.
It's about looking at neighbourhoods and industries that need support in areas. And obviously this area we felt needed support for the fashion industry, because obviously industry and manufacturing is falling out at the bottom of this area, obviously as history showed, and ultimately to try and bring some of that back in a new way.
Yeah.
And ultimately, obviously, the kind of fashion needs change motto of the campus to kind of look at how we can make an industry which is more beneficial